It's the 30th of April, 2016. I've got a busy day planned, and also, I took care of this stuff. So, this morning we were taking my grandmother to Cracker Barrel for Mother's Day. We never do Mother's Day stuff on the actual day of. It's way too freaking crowded. And then I'm getting ready to join a new Dungeons & Dragons party. Not ditching any of the old ones, I'm just going to have one more on top of it. But they've already had one session, so I need to catch up, or at least my character needs to catch up, at least get myself to level 2. So, the Dungeon Master is going to come over, and he's going to do a solo campaign just for my character, just to steer him in the direction of them and everything. So, a recap of my day so far, because of course I've been so busy, I haven't been snapping that much. Had breakfast at Cracker Barrel. The server wasn't that memory-wise good at her job. Even included an interesting surprise. I had ordered French toast, but she gave me pancakes. So I thought, I'm not going to cause a fuss. Same basic principle. Interesting surprise was that the pancakes had either walnuts or almonds. We were still back and forth in the group as to what they were. Point is, I liked it. It tasted good. It was a nice surprise. So, hey, I got to try something new. I didn't know I was going to, but I did. Then the D&D solo campaign. It was just as well crafted as I thought it was going to be, knowing who it was coming from. I started out in the shop, as if you watch the snap where I was creating the character, then you know all that backstory. Ended up getting some leads about a strange explosion that happened in town, and of course, given I'm researching that sort of thing, I wanted to check it out. Won't run through all the details, but I eventually got partnered out with this goblin called Grizzle. Oh, and Grizzle was interesting. He's a master of a new sort of element, kinda, called boom powder. Of course it's gunpowder, but it's boom powder in this universe. But you gotta keep in mind, this is medieval times and stuff like that, so guns don't even exist. So why would gunpowder exist? Anyway, I ended up tracking down this other gang of goblins which had stolen his boom powder in order to try to make their own means work. We set off an explosion that made all the other goblins run because they thought they had found him, because of course they were looking for him to make their powder work better. And then once I captured the gang leader, I put him over my shoulder, was going to take him back to the local militia, but a problem occurred. Helping Grizzle out, I got a cask of boom powder, which means my experiments for making a better ranged weapon are going to go quite interesting. But in order to get rid of the rest of the stuff, he also lit the rest on fire. Yeah, that's a problem. Tried to run and then the explosion happened. Didn't even get far. So now we're down in the sewers. Which apparently is convenient. Apparently the rest of the party, in their first campaign, they ended by going down into the sewers. You see how this works now? So we will eventually meet up. He apparently wasn't expecting me to keep the gang leader alive, so now he's got to deal with me having that on my hands as well. So yeah, fun all around. It was quite entertaining, and the way that he does goblins, he does them so well. I was laughing my head off multiple times. He did a goblin just the way a goblin should be acted. It was beautiful. Me, Grizzle, and a goblin gang boss are down in the sewers. What will happen next? Who knows? I have been warned that apparently some of the members of that party are so hostile, chances are they'll attack me, so that'll be fun when that happens. But otherwise, we'll just have to see. Of course, I'll tell you guys whenever we get around to it. Should be around the 8th if everyone's fine with it. Having my friend over sort of reminded me of my sharing policies and stuff like that, because it's kind of important to have those when you create content. And what do I mean by sharing policies? Think of it this way. Everyone's personal privacy policies around you. So in other words, who's okay with being in snaps and pictures and things like that, videos, all the stuff that you're doing all the dang time. Because the one thing that I think content creators have the risk of doing is be so used to sharing their lives that they forget that not everyone else shares their lives like we do. We're bizarre. It's odd. I'm sitting here in my home with my pajamas on and not even blinking about the fact that that's what I'm doing right now. So I kind of told my friend, I was like, yeah, I didn't snap or anything because I kind of know your privacy policy for you is that you're not comfortable with that. And that's just it. My policy has always been to assume that someone is not okay with it until you get a verbal cue otherwise. And that's usually if I'm with someone that isn't used to it, I go, hey, I do this as part of my content, do you mind? Because I won't do it if you mind. That's also given me the masterful moments of the silent snap, where you take a snap of a situation, but you don't comment on it. I tend to do that at D&D nights, for example. They know that I'm sharing this stuff, and they're fine with it, but I don't provide commentary as it's going on. So that the environment that I'm in sort of doesn't get shattered by some social media guy doing his stuff, but I still do my stuff. It's a balance. That's why a lot of my stuff is honestly around both my parents' house and the camper and the studio, because they're fine with it. They're so used to being in content at this point that, yeah, they've sort of got it like I do. Other than Mom's moments where she'll go, don't you dare put me on camera. But those are rare. In fact, as you guys probably notice as you've been following these, if she gets the chance to jump into one, she will. And she has multiple times. So yeah, if you make content out there, just remember, don't overshare everyone else. Even whenever I am talking about someone specific, if I don't have their privacy policy in place, I will cagily talk about them. Not as in me talking behind their back or anything. I would never do that crap. That's just immature. But more along the lines of, if I don't have permission, I'm not using their name. I know that their personal privacy policy of our friendship does not, under its contract, allow me to do so. Even my friend that I had over today, he said it blew his mind because Marisha Ray and Matt Mercer are currently doing an unboxing of some stuff. They're doing it on Periscope, and apparently, you guessed it, they're in their pajamas, which is just fun, right? That's when I kind of shared with him one of those secrets, and I hate using a word like that because it makes it sound like some sort of mystical, here's your step right here thing. He said that at some point, some of the Critical Role members pretty much said that they forget the camera's there. And that's why that show's so good. Best content you can possibly make is whenever you're not making it because there's a microphone or a camera or something like that in front of you. Best your content will be is whenever you're being yourself, regardless of if there's equipment around you or not. That's when it's on point. Taken me 5 years to figure out stuff like this when it really should be obvious, but be yourself and it'll just be better. And that's frightening at first. It's really freaking scary. You think you need to put a front on, that way you won't offend anyone or be annoying. But, and I hate to put it this way, but I'm almost calloused after 5 years to where I realize, no, I can't even put on a front anymore if I wanted to. Because honestly, putting up a front does nothing but show just how ungenuine you are. And I dropped that pretty freaking quick. It didn't last 5 years. It didn't even last a month. It just sort of clicked. Risk of sharing yourself? Someone's gonna hate it. And guess what? Who cares? You are passionate enough to share something that is inside you. Don't care about those people. Seriously. 1, they'll probably ruin you. And 2, that's something in the way of that passion in you. Let that passion out. Because honestly, the people that go into content creation, one of the main reasons they do it is because it's in them, and they can't hold it in anymore. It's almost like a compulsion. If you told me to stop making content, I'd probably explode. But it's not like I do it 24/7. There's a healthy balance, right? But the point is that it's part of me. It's me. Content creation is now part of my identity, and there's no way that I'm getting rid of it, as if I would want to. And it is kind of amusing how my friends, family, loved ones have all sort of adjusted to this and accept it and go, oh no, he's doing that, but let him do it. I mean, I even realized during these 5 years that I have made some new friends that don't know me without content and would find it bizarre if I stopped. So yeah, it's part of me now, and it's something I'm not getting rid of anytime soon. So if you got that passion out there to make content, follow it, guys. Seriously. There's no better time than now. This filter makes me look like I'm ready for the glory of the Sontaran Empire. Anybody? No? Just me? Okay. Well, this one just makes me feel like I'm out of Kid Icarus. Just need to get some new shoes. Greetings from Coverville. This is Brian Ibbett bringing you another playlist of covers. I can't remember the whole intro. Howdy, partner. Okay, enough filter exploring. It's time for me to go to bed. Night-night.